From the Kansas City Royals, number 33, Kevin Seitzer. From the Milwaukee Brewers, number 37, Dan Plesac. The 1985 Cy Young Award winner and a 15-game winner so far this season, batting in the ninth and warming up in the bullpen. From the Kansas City Royals, pitcher number 18, Bret Saberhagen. Ladies and gentlemen, baseball recently lost a valued friend. He was a victorious manager of the 1986 American League All-Star team, skipper of the 1985 World Champion Kansas City Royals, and member of the 1961 American League All-Star team. One of baseball's most respected managers. Please observe a moment of silence in the memory of Dick Hauser. And now to sing the Canadian and American national anthems, please welcome the Crown Princes of Motown, the Four Tops.
NBC Sports presents the 1987 All-Star Game. It is a beautiful evening, however, maybe not if you have to come up and try and hit fastballs and sliders. It should be pointed out there have been 3 twilight games in Oakland this year, and the total batting average at twilight, 222. In the first 5 innings of the 3 twilight games here, would you believe the total batting average? 198. And how about this? There has been 1 home run given up here in those 3 twilight games. It was hit by Reggie Jackson, and the pitcher was Bret Saberhagen.
I think they'll be all right, at least for the first inning, Vin, but after that, when those shadows really start to creep over, then it could be a problem. Be a problem to the infielders, too, seeing that ball come off the bat.
Bret Saberhagen, 15-3, going up against Mike Scott. It's the second time a pair of pitchers who previously won the Cy Young Award have started the All-Star Game. The previous time, 1978, Jim Palmer started for the American League and Vida Blue on the mound for the National League. So Bret Saberhagen has concluded his warm-ups, and here we go. Eric Davis, Ryne Sandberg, and then Andre Dawson.
If he keeps his pattern, Saberhagen, good fastball, change-up, has a curveball, but he'll work that curveball in slowly. That fastball's his
for the National League, number 44.
The West is not only the site of the setting sun, perhaps in some degrees, it has been setting ball clubs. And it is really pointed up when you realize that Eric Davis is the only player from the Western Division in either league voted to start. But what a player. In on the hands, ball 1, 1-0. There are already a lattice work of shadows in the hole at shortstop, and they are advancing towards the mound. There they are, and that's just the beginning of it. Chopper hits slowly to shortstop. Davis has a bad leg, so he's not running 100%, and Cal Ripken throws him out. 1 away. A little note as to the continuity. We were talking about Jackie Robinson and Larry Doby. The honorary coaches tonight, Billy Williams and Catfish Hunter. If you go back to the 1973 All-Star Game, Catfish Hunter was the starter, and a hitter hit a line drive back at the box, and it fractured Catfish Hunter's right thumb. The fellow who hit the ball, Billy Williams. Here's Ryne Sandberg, the Prince Valiant of the Cubs. And he's a little late on a pitch, fouls it away.
His bad ankle, his right ankle, is taped, and he's also wearing a special brace. Remember, he stepped on the bag in one of our Game of the Weeks. He thought that the bag was a little bit higher than normal and just skidded. He wears spikes all the time, so it wasn't those rubber cleats.
Typical of him, when he came back off a DL, his first at-bat, he hit a home run in Wrigley Field. Ryne Sandberg was a 20th round draft pick. Kind of shocking to realize he came that low or high, however you wish to put it. On deck, Andre Dawson. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's James Catfish Hunter, the pride of North Carolina, Oakland, and New York. Boy, was he something. 1-2 the count to Sandberg. Fouled away off to the right, out of play. So Bret Saberhagen is able to come inside and jam Sandberg each time.
Well, his plan is to work that curveball in slowly, but on the time being what it is, you really do a hitter a favor when you let up. If you get that good fastball like he has, that's what you want to throw.
Sandberg checked with Jim Sundberg about Saberhagen. Curveball hit slowly to third base. Bob's right at the bag to take care of it. So 2 down in the first inning. And that will bring up Andre Dawson. For Andre Dawson, of course, he was the eye of the storm after having been hit in the face by a pitch from Eric Schau. One reason, and we're not taking either side, but if you don't pitch inside to Andre Dawson, you're in the minor league, you're unemployed, and it is no accident that he has led the National League in being hit by pitches 4 straight years.
He really dives into the pitch.
And he probably dives into that pitch and hits it inside the left field foul line and down in the corner. George Bell playing the carom, and Andre Dawson steams into second base with a line drive double. So the first hit in the twilight is a double into the left field corner.
He wasn't about to let Saberhagen get ahead of him and jumps on the first pitch, a fastball. That's been the pattern on all the hitters, and he really hits it hard down the line. Mike Schmidt's another fellow that doesn't like to take a lot of pitches. He likes to get going right now, and when you do get 2 strikes on him, you do keep that ball away, but he, like Dawson, will like that ball inside.
So Andre Dawson waiting to be picked up, and Mike Schmidt trying to do that, but he pops the first one in the air foul. Terry Kennedy coming over to the photographer's well, and he can't get it. That should bring up a point. When you come into Oakland Coliseum for the first time, you notice 2 things. The deep so-called power alleys in left center and right center are only 375. That makes it a small part. However, the foul line and the foul territory, probably the largest in the major league, the way it was, let's say, in Atlanta before they brought the stands in closer to the diamond. So that certainly takes away from the hitter, giving the defense a chance to handle foul balls. 1-1 to Mike Schmidt, who began the year with 495 home runs and hit the one he really wanted, number 500 in Pittsburgh. And it was a typical Mike Schmidt home run, no window dressing. The Phillies were losing by a run with 2 out in the 9th when he hit it. 1-2.
So far, that was the best curveball he threw, and he had it in a real good spot. It was outside part of the plate, curveball down where it should be, and Mike feels that when you hit the breaking ball, you're hitting the pitcher's pitch, so Saberhagen had him swinging at his pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Saberhagen, who might very well become the youngest man ever to win his 2nd Cy Young Award. He's only 23. Check swing, little roller wide to third. Boggs is on it and throws him out. So Dawson is left at second with his double at the end of half an inning. Nationals nothing, American coming up. As we go to the second inning, it'll be Jack Clark, Darryl Strawberry, and Gary Carter. On the line score, you'll see an error charged to the National League on that comebacker that got away from Mike Scott. He will be charged with the error. Jack Clark, in a recent series with the Giants, his old ball club, they walked him 8 times in 12 at-bats. Earlier, he had tied a National League record with 6 walks in a doubleheader. To give you an idea of the respect he had.
Well, that chase the breaking ball, you can see why, because he doesn't give in to any pitcher. If it's King Kong, he's going to get 3 hard swings, and he'll chase the bad ball when you get 2 strikes, but try to get 2 strikes.
Off speed, a high change inside. Ball 1, 1-0.
That scouting report is a consensus that NBC made with scouts throughout the league, and we'll agree and disagree as we see.
Yeah. Ball 2, 2-0. For Jack, of course, it brings back memories. He played in his first All-Star game as a 22-year-old outfielder with the San Francisco Giants back in 1978. He's homered against every team in the National League, but not quite in every ballpark as he pops this one up. And it'll be Mattingly shielding his eyes from the glare. Makes the play. He needed sunglasses and everything else he could get.
It's a high sky here. There are no clouds up there. Those little angels that help you. And Mattingly, black under his eyes, glasses, battling it all away, and finally makes the play. When Clark makes a pop fly out, it is a major league pop fly out.
So we have one away, and Clark goes back to the pitch, and the batter is Darryl Strawberry. 0-1. Strawberry, the only National League player to start in each of his first 4 seasons in the majors. And he's 3 for 5 in his previous game. In there, 1-1. Strawberry, multi-talented. Last 4 years, over 100 home runs and 100 stolen bases. 2 balls, 1 strike to Darryl. 1 away in the second. Bret Saberhagen, 15-3. Fastball hit to the right side. Right there is Willie Randolph to take care of him. So one New Yorker rolls to the other. And with 2 down, the batter will be Gary Carter. Gary's an old hand at these things and a very successful star. He's been the MVP in 1981 and 84. It's his 7th year as a starting National League catcher. Oddly enough, in his first All-Star game in '75, he caught a fly ball off the bat of Rod Carew for the last out of the game. Fastball grounded to short. Cal Ripken Jr. is there. That takes care of Carter and the National League. And at the end of an inning and a half, no score, and Dave Winfield, the big cannon, will be wheeled into position for the American League to start it off. What's the best defensive play Ozzie Smith ever made? Well, we asked him, and he said, it was back when I was with San Diego. Jeff Burroughs of Atlanta was hitting, and it was a bad hop hit to my left. Now, watch what happened. Hard to believe. Almost up the middle. Now it's going to veer to his right, and he barehands it as he goes down on his knees and got up and threw him out. Strike. 0-1, Dozzie. 7 consecutive Gold Gloves. The toughest man in the National League to strike out. I guess his greatest memory offensively in the '85 championship series, after 3,009 at-bats as a pro left-handed, he hit a home run to win the game. 2 balls, 1 strike. On deck, Tony Gwynn to bat for Mike Scott. Rick Sutcliffe has just concluded in the bullpen. No score, top of the 3rd. Now back. So those shadows have now lengthened like long fingers reaching out across second base. And Sutcliffe will be out there reaching towards home plate in a while. Bret Saberhagen has allowed 1 hit, a double into the left field corner by Andre Dawson. Little fly ball to left. George Bell coming up for it. So 1 away, and Tony Gwynn will bat for Mike Scott. We asked Terry Kennedy because he was a teammate of Tony Gwynn's, and of course now he's trying to dream up ways of getting Wade Boggs out. What's the difference between Tony Gwynn and Wade Boggs? And Terry said Gwynn will get base hits on bad balls. Boggs only swings at strikes. For a strike. He's another tough man to strike out. About every 21 at-bats. Ozzie Smith's about every 24. Fouled off. 0-2 the count to Tony Gwynn. 1 away. Mike Scott went 2 innings, allowed a hit, and was saved on a leaping catch by Jack Clark at the line drive hit by Ripken.
Here's where you'll see the difference now. He supposedly is in a hole, no balls, 2 strikes.
Curveball, and it's a big chopper to shortstop. Ripken takes care of it. So 2 down. Friends, the 1987 All-Star Game is brought to you by Buick and your Buick dealers. Buick, where better really matters. By Miller Genuine Draft, coal-filtered draft beer. It's as real as it gets. And by Epson America. When you've got Epson, you've got a lot of company. Eric Davis grounded to short in the first inning. Eric 0 for 1. They're going to check at first base. Swing, says Dick Stello. Stello working his second All-Star game. He worked back in '77. 8th round draft pick by the Reds back in 1980. And until this year, didn't play very much. In fact, his lifetime batting average was only .259. It didn't sound like an All-Star. 1-1. Ground ball to third. Right there's Boggs. So an easy inning, and at the end of 2.5 innings, no score, the National and the American. Let's turn the clock back on Bret Saberhagen. Here he was at 11. We'll get how they're hitting in a moment. Mark McGuire is now at first base for Don Mattingly. Tony Fernandez is at shortstop for Cal Ripken. Kevin Seitzer is at third base for Wade Boggs. Kirby Puckett is in center field. And Mark Langston on the mound. Saberhagen, Morris, and now Langston. Right now, let's go to Marv Albert.
All right, Benna, this is Kansas City General Manager John Scherholz. John, what is your reaction to the news today that Bo Jackson has come to agreement with the LA Raiders, who play both baseball and football? Is there a fear that he'll get injured?
Well, certainly we were disappointed to hear that news, but our concern, of course, is keeping him active in baseball. There is that fear of injury, but hopefully Bo will play football for a short time and decide to return to baseball full time.
Why do the Royals permit this? Was there a fear of losing him if he did not play both baseball and football?
That was, in fact, our fear. If we had decided not to give him permission to do this, we were looking at the possibility of his walking away from baseball. We didn't know that, so we still feel like once he exposes himself to football and measures that against baseball, baseball will be his choice.
Any other Royals with interesting hobbies?
I certainly hope not.
Okay, John Scherholz, Royals General Manager, back to Vin and Joe.
Well, most of them are getting in, but there are still a few on the outside looking in. High fly ball down the left field line, hooking foul. Kevin Seitzer backed up by Tony Fernandez, and it's Tony Fernandez making the play. What makes it such a tough play, anytime you leave fair ground going to foul, and you know you're going in the neighborhood of the bullpen, but he was on the grass.
He runs Seitzer off to play, and he's just so graceful in everything he does. He wasn't sure of that, but once that ball hit, those sure hands just clamped it.
The Oakland Coliseum. Ozzie Virgil will take over behind the plate. Carter, Diaz, and Virgil. That means Guerrero and Leonard are the only two players left on the National League bench. Leading off is Kevin Seitzer. There's the American League, and Harold Baines is out on deck. So he's going to be coming in a moment. So Kevin Seitzer hitting in the number 2 slot. Baines will be hitting for the pitcher, Plesac. Are you keeping score in pen? Good for you. In there. Jeffrey Leonard, one of the remaining 2, is playing catch down in the National League bullpen. That's hit foul back into the crowd. John Franco of the Reds is down there. Meanwhile, in the American League pen, Dave Righetti is loosening up. That youngster in front is playing catch with Jeff Leonard. There's Righetti. Fisted in the air, and Juan Samuel is there to handle it. 1 down. Well, we're up here in the beautiful Bay Area. It's a reminder, next Saturday, 2 teams have already eclipsed the homer barrier. The Giants and the Cubs will be on the game of the week. Others will see the Orioles and the Royals. It'll all start at 3 Eastern time. Marv Albert is inside looking to baseball. Yep, the tradition is here. The memories are waiting on NBC Sports. Boy, he really came from fastball lifted into shallow right field. Dwight Evans poised, range for the tag. There's the catch. Here comes the throw, and it's a perfect throw, and Raines goes back. Oh, what a throw by Dwight Evans.
Right, strength against strength. My fastball against your swing.
So Kevin Seitzer will come up. And Larry Parrish is on deck, which would then leave Pat Tabler as the only player not to have gotten in the game. There's Larry Parrish. No score, bottom of the 10th inning. 1 ball and no strikes to Kevin Seitzer. In there, 1-1. Lee Smith, he is 6'6", listed at 215 pounds. Fastball hit in the air to dead center, and it's carrying well. McGee to the track, and then makes the catch for the out, and that had a chance. That ball was carrying. So Kevin Seitzer, a long out to dead center. No score at the end of 10. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Ground foul outside of third. If you haven't been with us all night, a quiet game. There was a line drive by Cal Ripken with Winfield at second. Ground ball to short. Tony Fernandez. Boy, I've never watched him play, but is he graceful? He is a joy to watch.
He doesn't make any herky-jerky moves, and he has those nice soft hands. He could catch an egg with those soft hands.
Shot foul. Boy, did that turn Hal Lanier. 2-2. Fernandez will be pitching to Kevin Seitzer and Pat Tabler. So Seitzer, Tabler, and Noakes. Fernandez trying to nail it down and give the win to Lee Smith. Kevin Seitzer finishing up the game at third base. Almost tried to bunt and walk into that one. Ball 1. Just did get out of the way.
As he squares around, that ball sails inside, and that gives you that quick 1-2 dance step.
Ball 2. 2-0 the count to Kevin Seitzer. John McNamara. 2-0, bottom of the 13th. And now Fernandez, ball 3.
That'll make the manager kind of wince and turn and twist a little bit.
Fernandez is about 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, which is one reason he has blossomed. And 9-5. And of course, Johnson relies on him heavily, as he should. And he is walking. So leading to... You wait this long, you're not going to get cheated, right?
Not him, anyhow.
No. Seitzer at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Matt. Just inside. Tried to jam him and missed the inside corner. And from the looks of things, he's enjoyed every minute of it, especially the challenges. So Winfield is the tying run with Seitzer at first, 2 out in the 13th, 2-0 National League. And it comes down to New York, New York. Mets versus Yankees. Busted back, ground ball to third. Wallach down to second. to Samuel, and it's over. At 9:19 Oakland time, the National League gets a 5-4 force play, and this one is in the books.